Jai Shri Radhe. Today is day 68 of the recitations of the stories of the 84 Vaishnava disciples of Sri Vallabhacharya Ji. Jai Shri Radhe, Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna Shri Vallabhadish ki Jai Ho. It's Varta 59, continuing from yesterday, part 1, Narayan Das, Luhana. One day, for some reason, the ruler became annoyed with Narayan Das and threw him in jail. He fined him 500,000 rupees. He set up an arrangement that Narayan Das must pay him 5,000 rupees per day, otherwise he would get 500 lashes of the whip. There were 2 Brahmin Vaishnavas living in Adel who had a daughter of marriageable age, but they could not afford to marry her suitably, so they thought of going to see Narayan Das in Thatta to borrow the necessary funds. They set off and soon reached there. They heard that Narayan Das was locked up and could not be seen. They decided to set off back the next morning. Someone went to Narayan Das and told him that these 2 Brahmin disciples of Sri Acharyaji had come there from Adel and that they had heard that he was in jail, and therefore decided to go back home the next morning. Narayan Das managed to send word to them to not leave without coming to see him. "I will be most fortunate to have your sight," he said. His man delivered the message. In the morning, the 2 Brahmins got up, performed their ablutions and bathed them, came to see Narayan Das carrying Sri Acharyaji's and Srinathji's foot dust and Mahaprasad. Narayan Das met them most affectionately and asked them to sit for a while. The Vaishnavas presented him with the prasadi items, and Narayan Das stood up and touched the bag to his head. Narayan Das asked after Sri Acharyaji and praised his good luck that the Vaishnavas had come to see him there. "I think I will be set free today," he said. "I know that Sri Acharyaji and Sri Thakurji are most merciful to me. For today, in this very place, Vaishnavas have come to give me their sight and tell me the news." At that very moment, 5 bags of 5,000 rupees arrived from his home. The doorkeeper had these 5 bags stamped before delivering them to Narayan Das. Narayan Das had consigned these 5 bags for the Vaishnavas. When the man who delivered them was out of the way, Narayan Das told the Vaishnavas to take them and leave straight away. He told them to leave that village or to remain hidden and to leave within the next few days. He apologized for not having been able to serve them in any way, bowed to them and sent them on their way. He asked them to convey his respects to Sri Acharyaji and to arrange the wedding of their daughter. The Vaishnavas took the 5 bags of 5,000 rupees and went home. The ruler came to the jail and asked his manager whether the 5,000 rupees for that day had arrived yet. He had replied, "Yes, they arrived. Narayan Das had them stamped and sent to him." The ruler then asked his treasurer whether the money had been deposited with him, and he said that it had not. The ruler became angry and demanded that Narayan Das be brought before him. Narayan Das was brought there and made to stand in front of the ruler, who asked him why no money had come that day. Narayan Das said that the bags could not come. The ruler called the torturers and told them not to beat him yet, but just to scare him. The torturers stood on both sides of Narayan Das and began to threaten him. The ruler said, "If you do not want us to pull all the skin off your body, then you must tell the truth. The bags did come from your house today, so where have you hidden them?" Narayan Das answered, "2 of my Guru brothers Brahmins came to me because they did not have enough money to marry their daughter. They came from far away filled with hope, and so I gave them the 5 bags. I knew I would get the 500 lashes, and knowing that, they were satisfied. I am ready for this. Do whatever you like to me." Hearing this, the ruler remained silent for at least an hour. He was thinking, there are such people on this earth who would only do good acts for the sake of their Lord. The earth is stable because of such beings. The ruler began to praise Narayan Das, saying that he was very pleased with him, for he kept his Guru's respect and rules. He called for a horse and a cloth to cover Narayan Das's head out of respect for him, and told him he could now resume his old job. He even asked him to forgive him for the punishment they had been meting out. He sent Narayan Das home on the horse with a cloth of respect on his head. When the 2 Brahmin Vaishnavas heard all this, they came to meet him. Narayan Das stood up to greet them, saying he had been missing them too much. He gave them a bag filled with 1,000 gold coins and asked them to take it to Sri Acharyaji. "Please also convey my humble respects to him," he said. The 2 Vaishnavas took their leave, and after a few days they reached Sri Gokul. Sri Acharyaji was there. They bowed down to him on Narayan Das's behalf and handed over the 1,000 gold coins. They told Sri Acharyaji Narayan Das's whole story. He said, "There should always be such love shown to Vaishnavas. Anyone who has the principles of the path so firmly established in their heart will always be happy." The 2 Vaishnavas then took leave of Sri Acharyaji and went to Adel, where they were very nicely married off their daughter. In this way, Narayan Das was a recipient of great grace from Sri Acharyaji. He had previously been known as Naryo, and when he became Sri Acharyaji's disciple, then Sri Acharyaji called him by the name of Narayan Das. Bhav Prakash. The two Brahmin Vaishnavas had ordinary names and were not closely related to the Lord's pastimes. Therefore, the story has not been told separately. They had taken shelter in Sri Acharyaji, and on the strength of this refuge alone, they were liberated from the suffering of the material world and became qualified for liberation. Thus concludes Varta 59, the story of Narayan Das Luhana, although truthfully there is no end to his tale. Here concludes Varta 59, and we will continue tomorrow with Varta 60. Jai Shri Krishna. Shri Vallabhadisha ki jai. Shri Giriraj Dharana ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.